Welcome. My name is Debbie and this is Pouring My Art Out for the Lord. And we're continuing to work on our wildlife journal today, Canadian Wildlife Journal. So we put our signatures in here. We've been working on pockets and different things. We did some stenciling on this one, library cards. Each week I give you a freebie in the coffee shop that you can download and work along with me. Here's some more library cards. This was a neat little pouch thing that we made. And this closed the pouch. A couple of things up there. So we've done some various things. So today we're going to make another project. So this is the freebie. It's got 4 of the images from the kit that I've shrunk down and made into smaller rectangles, I guess. And you can use these for multiple things. You could just use them as a journal card. You could use them as a little cover for a little booklet, a journal kind of thing. You could use them as a pocket, all kinds of things. So if you want, print them out more than once and do a couple of things, or you could do a couple of things how I'm doing it and a couple of things how, you want to do it different. But I'm going to show you a really neat little project that's maybe a bit of a notch up, but simple enough to do. So I'm just going to cut one of these out to begin with. I am going to be sewing for this project. You don't have to sew, but I think it is more effective to sew. And I'll show you why in a minute. So I'm just going to cut one of these out. And then I've just got another, this is in lightweight cardstock. This is just a sheet that I had printed out before, and this is just in 32-pound copy paper. I think this is one of the original papers in the kit. I made papers in the kit. I printed them out. I didn't like something on it, so then I changed it a little bit, and then I printed it out again. So I have some printouts of things that didn't quite make it into the kit because I found something better. So I'm not sure if this is one of those or one of the final ones. So I apologize if you don't have exactly this sheet, but print whatever you want. You could even just print on the back of here if you have a good weight cardstock. I like to back it with something else because it's a little bit lightweight for me. So I'm just going to take my glue stick and I'm going to glue the back of here. And I'm not going to be too worried about getting right to the edges because, like I said, I am going to sew this. If you're not going to sew, you are going to want to have glue right to the edges and probably even some liquid glue to reinforce right at the corners and some of the edges. And because I know this page is printed borderless, I'm going to go right to the edge here. Actually, I kind of want it to be this way because then I can get 4 on this one sheet. So I'm just going to press that on there and cut that out. I know it's not completely fastened on the sides, and that's okay. I just wanted to get the glue in the center because for 2 reasons. It kind of holds it in place while I, get ready to sew. And also the glue gives it a little bit more weight so that it's a little bit stiffer, which I want for this project. So then what I want to do is I have this, I don't know, I've had this for a long time. I can't even remember. I think it was even from a dollar store or something like that. It's just kind of a sheer ribbon. You can use, you want something see-through. You could use something like vellum, something even like tracing paper, even parchment paper. Well, parchment paper is maybe a little bit opaque, but you could try that. Tulle would be a good option. I was going to actually use tulle, and then I found this and I like this better. So, like bridal veils tulle, and you can get big rolls of that at the dollar store for really inexpensive. So what I'm going to do is it just barely fits side to side. I'm going to give myself a little bit extra on the bottom here. Probably don't need quite this much, but that's okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my clips here, and as I get it kind of centered from side to side, I'm going to put some clips on here because this is going to want to move as I sew it. So I'm just going to put these clips. These clips are really handy because you can't really put pins in paper. I mean, you can, but then you're going to have holes in the paper. I found these clips, I think, just on AliExpress or something a few years ago for just a couple of dollars, and I use them all the time. So, you know, if you don't have all the supplies, this is kind of a beginner series here. So if you don't have, you know, the clips and this and, you know, all those things, just watch, enjoy, and then use this project to make something different in your journal. And then, you know, one day when you collect a few more things, you can try it. Some of you may have, you know, if you look around, if you've been crafting in different areas for a while, you probably have little bits and pieces that you can use for that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew through all these layers, down one side, across the bottom, and up this side. I'm going to leave the top open, and I'll be right back when that's done. Okay, so I stitched around those three sides. I trimmed it a little bit, but I decided not to trim it right to the edge. This ribbon, or whatever you would call it, is a little bit frays a little bit. So I didn't want to do it too close and then have it fray out of the stitches. If you are worried about, if you're using something that has quite a bit of fray on it, what you can do is grab some washi tape and, you know, just take a big piece and put it around like this, and then stitch through that, and then that will cure that. Or you could do it different ways, but I think mine will be okay. So now I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with it. Well, actually first, what I did is I put a bit of glue on all of the thread ends. Well, just on the back. I just put glue on the back. I'll show you. So just a little bit here and a little bit here, just to lock those stitches in and just make sure that that part is not going to come apart. So I did that, and then the next thing I want to do is I'm making a shaker card. Don't think I mentioned that yet. So I have some little pieces here. I have this these little silver discs, which came from this big, huge roll. I think I bought this on Etsy years ago, and I've used it for different projects, but it comes, it's kind of like a joined trim, so I just cut all the little individual things off. And then I had these little tiny jars of just little beads and different things that I did get from the dollar store a while ago. And then I also had a bunch of these Canadian flags, which were pins, and my husband cut off and ground off actually the pin part at the back, because this is Canadian wildlife. I thought that would be kind of cool. So I'm just going to open up this pouch here, and I'm going to pour all of this stuff in. And then I might just turn around this. It might turn around and around, I don't know, but I'm going to turn this Canada flag around. And then, you know, it'll be like a little shaker card. If you haven't made a shaker card yet, they're very easy to make, as you can see. You put all kinds of things in them. A lot of people put sequins in. I would have put sequins in if I had any, but I didn't actually have any. Any of these little tiny bead things. Some people put like paper die cuts. little very thin wooden pieces, all kinds of things like that. So I'm going to stitch here, and then I'll be right back. Okay, one thing I didn't mention is when I was initially sewing around these 3 sides, I kind of centered my ribbon on my piece, and I showed you how I used these. And then I sewed down one edge, and then as I was going around the other 2 edges, I just made sure this was really taut, because you know, it can get bubbles in it and stuff. A little bit of looseness is okay. You know, this isn't like super tight. It's as tight as I could get it, but you don't want it super loose, because then, you know, things are gonna bunch up and stuff like that. It's not gonna work very well. I have to keep getting it off of the fox's face there. And then what I will do again, I guess I could do that now, is just put some more glue on these stitches before I trim off those ends. And then what I'm going to do is just to dress it up a little bit. You don't have to do this part if you don't want to, or you can do something different. But I'm just going to make a mark. So this is exactly 4 inches. I think I will do 1 inch and 1 inch. Yeah, I think I'll do a mark about 1 inch in from each side. And I'm going to put an eyelet in there. So I'm going to punch a large hole with my crocodile. Make sure that you don't have any sequins and stuff up at the top when you're doing that. I should have waited for my other glue to dry, because now it's getting on my hands, but. And I'm just going to set my eyelets. I've got a whole video on eyelets, where I get them and how to do them and how to work with the different kinds and all that kind of stuff. So it's in the Junk Journal 101 playlist. So if you're new to doing eyelets, you can check that out. And then I have my 2 eyelets there. And I'm still waiting for those things to dry on that side, but I have this little package of kind of crepey ribbon, but it's not paper, it's fabric. I got this from Temu, and it was, I think it's even less than $1. And you get, I don't know, I mean, it's enough for 2 or 3, you know, journal tie covers, or, you know, different things. What I'm going to do with it is I'm going to just put an end through one of these eyelets from the top, from the front of the, so I'm putting it in through the top. I'm trying to just be careful because I have that glue still drying there. And then I put it on the other side. And I think instead of doing a bow on mine, I'm just going to tie a knot, because I think a bow might be a little bit bulky with this thickness. So I'm just going to kind of center that and see if I left myself enough room. Trying to do it without smearing the glue. Should have just waited. You wait, it's easier. Just give it a few seconds to dry, and then you don't have to worry about being so particular. There, and then it just gives you a nice little finish to that, the top of it. So that's what we're making today. So hopefully you like that project, and then you can, still not quite dry, but let me see if I can just show you how I would put it in my journal. So I have a nice big pocket here, so I can stick it in a pocket like that. Here's one of my slanted pockets. I'd have to put it in the bottom one. Probably wouldn't quite fit in that one. But any of these, you know, these larger pockets, it would just fit in perfectly. So even in the front or the back and into these side pockets. So go grab your freebies. I started making the other 3. I haven't finished them yet. I I sewed around them, but I was just waiting for this glue to dry. So I'll finish those up and I'll show you a picture at the end. And yeah, go grab your freebie, make it. The freebie's available for 1 week. And hopefully you're enjoying making your Canadian wildlife journal. Blessings.